Let's look at if two functions are inverses to each other or not. Here we've been given these two functions. F of x is 6 over x minus 9. That one's in black. And over here in red, g of x is 6 over x, then plus 9. We want to know, are they inverses to each other? Well, we can determine if the two functions are inverses by doing the composition. If the composition both ways results in x, then the two functions are inverses. If not, then they're not. So let's do the composition both ways and see what we find. To do the composition, remember when we do f of g of x, what that's going to mean is we're going to take the function called g of x, the one that was in red, we're going to substitute it for all of the x's in the original f of x. So I'm taking the stuff that's here and I'm placing it in this x. When I do that, the stuff in red going in for that x, here it is. You'll notice right off that these 9s are going to add out. When I add those out, we're going to end up with 6 over x. That can be simplified, that complex fraction can be simplified by realizing that this fraction bar is just a fancy way of saying divide. So I'm dividing 6 by 6 over x. Of course, when we're dividing fractions, the way to handle that is to invert and multiply, to flip over the one that's on the bottom and multiply. So I'm going to take 6 over x. Let's flip it over, and that makes it x over 6. When you do this multiplication, you'll see right off that this 6 cancels with that 6. When those 6's cancel, we're left with x over 1, which of course is just x. The composition f of g of x ended up being just an x. That was what we wanted for them to be inverses. But now let's try the composition the other direction and see what happens. How about the other way? I'll take this time to do g of f of x. We're going to take the one called f, that's the stuff that's in the black here, and we're going to substitute it in for this x. So the things here are going in for the x that is there. We're hoping that this composition is going to end up being just an x. If it is, then we'll have proven that these two functions are inverses to each other. So let's take the stuff that is here, substitute it for this x. The 6 that is there is the 6 that's on top. Instead of this x, let's replace it with 6 over x minus 9. That was our f of x. Then the plus 9 that's on the back was the plus 9 that was here. Now again, we've got this complex fraction that we need to simplify. So let's start by simplifying it. This 6 is the 6 over 1 that is here. We're going to invert and multiply, so that is why I have multiplication here. And flipping this part over makes it x minus 9 over 6. Now you see right off, those 6's are going to cancel. When those 6's cancel, we're left with x minus 9 plus 9. And of course, those 9's are going to add out. So again, we ended up with just an x. When you end up with just an x, that means that we did have inverse functions to